So, you want a mossy leaf-tailed gecko. They literally look like branches. They have these insane cat-like eyes. They have this... They have these insane brownish yellow eyes with this really cool pattern. They don't have eyelids. They have these transparent scales that they lick and keep clean. And they have these fringes that run from their beards, down their legs, all the way down the side of their body. This is arguably one of the coolest geckos you can buy. They almost look like mossy crocodiles. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. First, we're going to start where mossy leaf-tailed geckos are from. Mossy leaf-tailed geckos, or Eurypletis sicari, are only located in Madagascar, in tropical forests on the east coast and along the northeast. Right now, their natural habitats are endangered due to deforestation, which actually makes us, people, their primary threat to existence at the moment. Mossy leaf-tailed geckos are a nocturnal species, so they're active at night and they sleep during the day. When they do sleep, they tuck their arms into their bodies and legs, and it makes them look just like the stick they're laying on. This species of Eurypletis grows between 6 and 8 inches, with males tending to be a little bigger than females. I personally house my mossy leaf-tail by himself, but they can be paired with a female in a tank. Just monitor the two and make sure that they're okay and they're not stressed out. The recommended tank size for 1 to 2 leaf-tails is a 20-gallon tank, or an 18 by 18 by 24 front opening tank. Zoomed, Zilla, and Exoterra make great front opening tanks that you can use. It's very important when you build your enclosure, you mimic the low levels of the forest these guys live in, supplying them with plenty of branches, cork grounds, and plants to climb on. When you see them up looking for food at night, they will utilize every branch and cork ground you put in there. Mossy leaf-tailed geckos do tend to stress out easier than other hardy geckos, so keep the handling to a minimum. Other than today when I was just filming, mine's a display animal. I barely handle him. You can tongue feed these guys, and that's what I do for an alternative to bond with it rather than holding it. That'll keep the stress level of him down, and he feels safe in his enclosure. So this species isn't prone to biting, but they can be very, very flighty, which is another reason why you should keep handling to a minimum. 1, they can get hurt if they jump from a high place. 2, if you have cats, it can be a disaster if they get a hold of them. Not that I know from experience, thankfully, but I do see how my cats stare at my reptiles through the tank, so I can only imagine what they'll do if they get a hold of them. These geckos are carnivores. In the wild, they eat insects, arthropods, and gastropods. In captivity, they feed on a wide variety of insects. Just to name a few: crickets, dubias, mealworms, etc. You can offer them waxworms and small horned worms as a treat, but those tend to be a little more fatty. These guys will stay hydrated and get their water from the water droplets after you miss the tank. A shallow water bowl isn't necessary for these geckos, but you can offer it and it'll help keep the humidity up in the tank if you don't have live plants. Speaking of humidity, these guys require a high level of humidity, which requires you to mist them several times a day. The humidity should be kept around 75 to 85% for these guys. While these guys don't require a hot basking bulb, the temperature should be kept between 78 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. You should have a nighttime drop for these guys, and the temperature should reach 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Providing a low output 5.0 tropical UVB bulb is always beneficial for their health. Providing lighting to keep your plants lit too is very important. Mossy leaf-tailed geckos are on the more pricey side as far as geckos go. These guys range from $350 to $400 usually. They're not like Leachianus expensive, but they are expensive for a gecko. They are also very difficult to find captive bred inside stores. Mossy leaf-tailed geckos are an amazing species to own if you can supply them with the right care that they need. As of right now, there is no definite answer on how long these guys live in captivity. They usually say 5 to 8 years on different websites and stuff. Mine right now, my boy's reaching around 4 years old, so unfortunately he's getting up there in age. But fortunately, he made it this long, which means I took care of him correctly. Oh. Oh. He wants to talk to you guys for a second. I do highly recommend you guys go do more research of your own on these guys besides just watching this video. I mean, the more information you have, the better, and it's got to ensure that your gecko has a long, healthy life. Hopefully you guys found this video informative and it helps you out if you decide whether or not you want to buy a mossy leaf-tailed gecko. But again, I do highly recommend to do a lot more research rather than just watching a single video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.